welcome to Exampur. I hope my voice is audible clearly, screen is visible, everything is set or not. Please do let me know about it so that I can proceed with the session. So before going to the topic, I just want to let you know people regarding the Exampur app. You just have to go through these 6 steps in order to install the Exampur app. You'll get to see various benefits out of the batches available only on Exampur app. You just have to explore only single application just to have the access of many of the batches, and on the sequential basis plus with the limited timing, you will get to see the preparation of examination. So do not forget to take the advantages available on the same app. Do not forget to install the app. So before going further, I just want to let you know about ICDS, the social sectors aspect we need to deal with the integrated child development services, and what kind of aspect we need to make the involvement of. Second of all, I'm just going to give a glance regarding the lending activity. I've already done so in the morning session, but I'm going to give the glance again in order to make the clear view regarding the same topic. And plus, what kind of understanding you need to have regarding these current affairs, I'm just simultaneously going to give the acknowledgement about the same. Issues related to the development of social sector. Whenever we do make consideration of the word social, in the economical wording, the way I have just told you many a times, whenever you deal with the mains answer writing questions, you have to have the keywords associated with the subject. Means that should be relevant to the economical wordings. You need to catch out the word meaning of the same in those perspectives. Suppose you are talking about the social factors, you have to think about the accessibilities, involvement of people, as much as involvement we are going to make it. As we are talking about the ICDS sector, programs such as ICDS Child Development Services, Swachh Bharat are important. Always have a few points ready for them. Context is all about Anganwadi services, which aims to spread the awareness. Anganwadi system, a part of integrated child development scheme, serves approximately 30 million children in age group of 3 to 6 in 1.3 million centers across the country. Okay, issues related to the development, you need to make the consideration. The context you have to have a glance of. Anganwadi services, Anganwadi system, its main aim is to spread the awareness, whatever we have to make dealing in. And social is all about access and approach. ICDS development, integrated child development scheme serve approximately 30 million, which establishing the inclusivity. We are trying to reach more and more people. As we are making our extension in the base of inclusivity, means we are moving towards the developmental scenario. And for that aspect, before going further, for any program, first aim should not be the implementation, but to spread the awareness about the same scheme, so that they'll get to know about the program, so that they would have the access regarding the same. Next is all about issues of integrated child development scheme on attendance. On attendance, the ICDS scheme is designed to support all the children. You need to know about the components involved under the program. Since it is talking about the child development services, what all services are included, how much children are getting enrollment in the Anganwadi, you should have at least a glance regarding the same topic. So all the children you are talking about till the age of 6 with the health, nutrition and education, as this is the part of social sector. Social sector not only include the resources, but the capacity which comes from healthy and which comes from health and the education aims to make the spread of. So social just to increase the access. How would you increase the accessibility? Accessibility comes from your capacity. Capacity would be along only if you would be healthy enough to make contribution. And what is the aim of education? To make spread of awareness about the program you want to make implementation of. Okay, so what is the category of children? 0 to 6 year old. So like capacity and the productivity comes from the healthy nutrition, whether the person is nutritious or not, and the education in whether that person is in condition to make spread of the program or not. Next, how much picturization is there? Like 70% children are enrolled in the Anganwadi in India. 70% approximately, every 7% from the 10%. ICDS is plagued by low attendance. Okay, so low attendance means children development. Attendance ratio is quite small. And role of parents, not willing to speak parents' language in our child development beneficiaries passes. Like you can take the access of immunization camp, which are universalized in nature, means available for all. Ration card, it is making the strengthening in the base. One nation, one ration card you are talking about. And next is all about English language, math skill. Most of the parents feel that their children best pathway for social mobility. Like if you are making the upgradation in capacity, it is not necessary that you just need to get equipped in English and maths in order to have the capacity, in order to have the scope. It is not that necessary, but they should have the access of these languages. English would be considered, English is considered even as the universal language, as it is the medium. It is just a medium to convey the language or convey the information to the person of every citizen of every country. We are making the consideration in the entire world. This is the common phenomena, you can take it as. Next, solution curriculum is all about language driven based pedagogy activities. Basically, we are focusing on the education scenario in order to develop the social parameters. Social parameters accompanying the health, not only the health, education scenario, and resources, how much resources they are holding. And if they are making the full equipment, like in the form of food, whether they are highly nutritious to provide capacity. So such kind of parameters we need to look at. Exploring manipulation the physical environment regarding to develop early development and early languages, numeracy, emotional, executive plans, what kind of condition you are getting along. So these are the skills you have to make focus on, so that you can make the judgment about the productivity, how productivity our children are moving towards. And under this ratio, 70% population, 70% children are under this. Regular parents teacher meeting, Shiksha Chopal, parents teacher meetings. Getting my point? So that you can take a feedback and make a check and balance whether everything is going correct or not, whether everything is going in balance based or not. Engagement with the parents. Regular messages can be shared with parents so that parents get to know about the performance of the children's, and feedback would be accompanied in the same way the way private schools are doing the same. And productivity are coming into the consideration. Conclusion. What can we talk about the conclusion parameter? Parents as stakeholder. Mass campaign for the awareness, which is required for every program. Obviously, if you do, what is the lagging of every program? You just only talk about the implementation of the program, but no, before making the implementation, before going for any programming, you need to spread the aura, you need to spread the base before the people that such and such programs we are going to implement. You need to be the part of that curriculum. If you are doing so, if you are spreading the awareness regarding the program, you will get the best result in comparison to making direct implementation of the resources, making direct implementation of the program. If I am not even aware about that program getting implemented, getting implemented, uh, it is not only wasting the time to reach out the information to the people, plus wasting the resources. People are not that aware about the curriculum and you are making the implementation. These are making the disastrous impact on our resources, even not only on time but also on the resources. Abhibhavak bhagidari means participation of the parents in that ecosystem. You need to be the participant of the programming. Your main basic program is to develop the children base so that productive children could come into the picture and can make contribution in the economic activity. Participation of the parents to activate Anganwadi 2.0. 2.0, you are giving privilege or you are giving the participation to children, to the parents with the children so that things could be improvised. So related to what kind of question could be asked out of the state, what things you need to focus on under this issues, what are the issues? Swachh Bharat context is all about the 30 million children were there in the age group of 3 to 6. What your basic aspect is to establish the developmental role, in which social aspect means you are getting along with the nutrition, health and education, and 70% people are the part, like children are the part of this, and performing low attendance. And there is also the participation of a parents teacher meeting in order to take the feedback, in order to know the performance of the children. Both the sides things are into the interconnectivity. Next is all about the conclusion. Stakeholdership has been given to the parents, and Abhibhavak Bhagidari means Anganwadi 2.0, where parents are taking participant, getting along with the students in order to assess the performance of the children, how the things are going on. And what kind of question could be formed out of the segment? Which of the following are the beneficiary? Which of the following you are just talking about? So which of the following are beneficiary under ICDS? Anganwadi is the source to spread the services, and this kind of question could be asked from the ICDS, Integrated Child Development Program. So this question has been asked. You have been asked for children, whether it is till the age of 6, pregnant women are the part of it or not. Beneficiary should be the pregnant women, lactating women. Select the correct answer using the codes. This would only be known to you if you have at least had a glance regarding the program. This is really too easy, but this you would be able to give answer only if you have a glance of integrated child development services. So children up to 6 years, I have just told you, related to the health issues of pregnant and lactating women, we are having major concern. So all are the part of it. D would be the correct answer. All three are the beneficiaries under integrated children development services. Okay, so this kind of question could be asked in the ICDS, Anganwadi services. Main objective is to reach out to the people, is to spread, is to have access. Children, pregnant women and lactating, 3 are the part. So D would be the correct answer. Next topic. So next topic is totally related to, I've also mentioned about this topic yesterday. How should public sector bank be privatized? How should we do so? Direction could be editorial explained many a times we things are under the news that about coming regarding the pros and cons of private banks and the public banks. Every bank has their own pros and cons, has their own significance and impact on the Indian economy. So context could be 2021 and 2022 announced that decision to privatize 2 public banks. Why we are doing so? We need to have following update. Recent paper, Arvind Panagaria argued that government should move rapidly as rapidly as politically feasible. So we are going to know about the pros and cons now. Why privatize as per the study? Why privatize? Why we are required to make the privatization? In a very theoretical wording, I just want to explain that privatization of any bank we are talking about, you just need to know if we are selling our property. If I'm selling my asset, I'm going to get something in return. Okay, I'm going to get something in return, and out of that return, I can make spending. I can make spending. Plus, burden of loss could go declined, could go diluted. Burden would go mitigated, because every sector we are not selling to the public sector, no. So what we are talking about here, whatever portion is performing so bad in our country, I have that much of privilege to sell it off and getting the return out of that, and that return I can make spending in the asset management. Plus, that asset management can make addition in the capital formation if this is so. Okay? It should not be wasted, or it should not be invested, especially in case of like if we are making the investment of our resources on the productive side, then it is okay. But if we are making investment of, or making the spending on interest payment or subsidies or the pension, they are not going to inculcate any income on sustainable basis. Ultimately, it is going to lead disastrous impact on our economy after selling out our resources. If we are making the proper utilization of the resources coming after the selling, then it is okay. It is going to make the pump priming aspect. Pump priming aspect means sustainable basis for the return going to be there. So now we have to be part of this private sector. What is the main consideration of the private segment? Private segment are meant to play efficient out of the competition that establishes. Second of all, the main motive is not to spread the welfare, but to have the profit. If their expectation is only about the profit, they are not going to make major emphasis on the priority sector. So thing could be productive, as they are not making the policies in favor of small MSME agricultural sector. They have privilege to perform better, to perform productive and less corrupt. Greater contribution towards extending loan. They have better privileges, because like if we do talk about public sector banks, they have a particular consideration that 40% has to be allocated for the priority sector. They have full freedom or leverage to extend their contribution towards the loan as much as credit, like credit disclosure they want to do, credit extension they want to do, they can do it. And added more branches and created new jobs. Various delays you get to see in case of public sectors, and in case of branch, in case of number of branches, if you do talk about in private sector, it is huge in number in comparison to the PSPs. And if there is more branches, you get to see a lot employment opportunity. So this would be considered as the preferable option in comparison to PSPs. This is only the one side of the corner, one side of the picture. So efficiency, productivity, and the number of loans, credit like provisions you are going to inculcate, and the jobs, regional basis, number of branches, if it would be more. And they are trying to mitigate the NPA as much as possible. Why not privatization? Because if we are getting along with any program, say as we were talking about integrated child development services just now, if I have to make the spread of that program, suppose, and I would require funding for that being, in order to make the implementation, not even for the implementation, if I have to make the spread of this, and getting a way towards the Anganwadi, I would require money. How would I get money? Out of the bank. If I would have clear association, if I would have clear partnership or the ownership on the bank, I would easily accommodate such priority sector, which is accommodating not only my policies but the target in favor of public. So the main motive is not to make an extension towards the profit, but to the welfare scenario. Okay. So, paper title Big Bang Approach of Privatization of these public sector, government owned bank, and rural reach is more like private sector dominate the metropolitan area. It is public sector bank that operate branches in rural, trying to increase the access in the rural areas. If they are increasing the access toward the session, which remain a unreachable sections, if they are increasing their access towards that, means public sector is only the one spreading towards, because their main motive is not to have not to drag the profit, but to spread to the unreachable sections. If they are reaching, so moving towards the inclusivity criteria, establishing the welfare in the economy. So next is all about social relevance, accounted for 1.3 crore of total of the almost 46 crore beneficiaries. PM Jan Dhan Yojana, I have told you in the last session, 78% of the account holding we get to see in public sector. So how can we appreciate the private sector part? If we have to accommodate any program, if we have to make a establishment of any policy which should be in favor of welfare, which should aim towards making the inclusivity, we can only do so by making the association with the public bank, but not by the private bank. Second, priority sector could be on prioritized basis only when there is public sector is on corner. But what about we have put the public sector totally on the sides? Next, PSBs is greater or better in fiscal financial inclusion. So infrastructure finance, PSBs have lion share in these lending, more effective in monetary policy, transmission, whatever kind of effects we are trying to make on the economy. Public sector play a crucial role, effective role in monetary transmission. What do we mean by monetary transmission? These are the steps undertaken by the RBI in order to control the aggregate demand in the economy. Suppose I'm just going to give the example. Transmission mechanism, monetary policy. Monetary policy, what do you mean by monetary policy? Banks policy. What kind of policy? In order to control the rate of interest. How can we make control of rate of interest? How can we make control of rate of interest? By altering the rates of repo. Repo rate, we can make alteration in the repo rate. It would put directly effect on rate of interest. And this is going to make fluctuations in the investment. This is going to make fluctuations on investment. Or if you are making fluctuation in investment, directly making impact on employment. And employment plus the growth. So this is how transmission mechanism works. Through the medium of any agent, through the medium of any component, RBI uses, suppose we have just taken the repo rate, through that medium they would try to make a influence or make an impact on the rate of interest, which can make changes in the interest level, in the investment level, and investment level definitely going to result in the employment and growth scenario. So conclusion, what could be the conclusion we can form out of the segment? Good morning, Tarun. What kind of a conclusion we can form out of the segment? Private ownership alone does not automatically generate economic gain. Like private ownership does not automatically generate economic gain. Why is it so? Like they are not talking about, they have least interest in having the access of inclusivity. They are getting the benefits out of the public sector, but public sector are not getting benefit out of the private sector. As we are trying to expand the base for the Jandhan account, suppose we are trying to make the inclusivity, trying to strengthen the base of the customers. Those customers are going to have benefit, going to make benefit for the private banks as well. So such kind of benefits could be inculcated by the private banks from the public bank, but public bank are not getting any kind of benefit from the private bank. So this is the problem we can talk about. So before discussing the question, I just want to give a glance. Privatization are just making the efficiency or developing the productive ideas, productivity showing the productivity. Out of the competition, they are establishing greater contribution towards extending the loan, and private bank added more branches and created more jobs. If I am establishing many outlets, I am going to include more and more people. Employment generation would take place, and employment generation is going to lead like it is not going to give security, but including more and more people. Why it is not that important, big bang approach of the private person, like why we have made the nationalization of the bank at the time of 1969 1980, just to make association of the policy and the targets accommodated by government. In order to fulfill them, we need to have access of funding. We need to have access of funding. This is only the reason. So rural reach could be accommodated by, because rural like PSB's target is just not to make the money out of it, but to have the inclusivity on that periphery. Social relevance, to have access of many customers. If we have many customers, inclusivity you will get to see out of the parameters. Infrastructure finance, more effective in case of public sector. Why is it so? Policy transmission mechanism would work effectively. And what is the transmission mechanism? I've just told you. Once we are taking the rate of interest as the agent to make effect on aggregate demand. Okay. What is the level of question could be asked? What are, as we are talking about the privatization, what are the effects that led to nationalization of bank? Its impact on economic development and job creation. So coal sector was nationalized by Government of India under Indira Gandhi. Now coal blocks are allocated on lottery basis. Till recently, India imported coal to meet their shortages of domestic supply, but not India is self-sufficient in coal production. Okay, so first option is totally related to the nationalization, means things are under the control. Was nationalized by Indira Gandhi. You all already aware about the fact it is the time of 1970s. We started making nationalization after 69. First of all, we have taken the decision for nationalization of 14 banks. After that, coal industries, coal sector got nationalized. Okay, so nationalization by the Government of India under Indira Gandhi, yes, it is so. Okay. Now coal blocks are allocated on a lottery basis. Is it so or not? Or imported coal to meet the shortages? Yes, we do make import, but we are still not self-sufficient. What kind of answer we could make the consideration of? If we are known about the fact, suppose if we are known about the fact, we are still not on the self-sufficient condition, still the largest importer of the coal from Russia. Okay, so we are not at all self-sufficient till now so far. So third option would be incorrect. If we are known about the fact, that third option is incorrect. Only one would be the correct. Only elimination method could work under this. So what is the statement? And 2 and 3 would be incorrect one. Coal is allocated in auction, not on the basis of lottery. Okay, still import coal, especially coking coal. Good afternoon, Shankar. So basic aim of a lead bank scheme is that, this has been asked, lead bank scheme. As we are talking about the nationalization, suppose we were talking about the private bank and public bank. This kind of correlation you have to develop. This is talking about the profit criteria, profit maximization, and public sector is talking about the inclusivity. Trying to include more and more people which are unserved in the segment, trying to reach out to the segment. So what kind of question could be asked? Big bank should try to open offices in each district. Is it so? Big banks should try to open up in each. First of all, whenever we are taking decision to make the implementation, we have to start with a shorter chain. We can call it pilot study. First, we need to make the analysis regarding some states or some districts so that we can have a glance what kind of drawbacks we get to see in the proceeding, so that we would not suffer the same in other cases, in other states. So we need to have a glance with a small picture so that we can make the generalization of that project on other. Next point is all about there should be stiff competition among various nationalized banks. There should be stiff competition among various nationalized banks. Yes, nationalized competition among the, it is all about? No, this is not at all. Lead bank scheme is all about individual banks should adopt particular district just to with the aim of, their aim is to make the establishment in the development. In order to make the establishment, provide funding, and bank should be there. Bank should be there for that aspect. Okay. All the banks should make intensive effort to mobilize the deposits. No. So our main objective is to adopt particular district in order to make development in those area. Lead bank scheme introduced in the year 1969 envisages the assignment of lead role to individual banks for district allocated to them. Okay, so such kind of question could be asked out of the PSUs and the PSBs. So perspective, I have just told you in the morning lecture regarding the lending, digital lending rules. What kind of digital lending rule you get to see? Reserve Bank of India, digital lending, integrated ombudsman, concern, and the steps taken by the government you need to study. RBI has issued detailed guidelines for digital lending, according to which digital loans must be credited directly to the bank account. There is no role of third party in that segment. First set of guideline for digital lending to crack down illegal activity by certain players. And who is working on it? Working group on the digital lending. Next, what is the digital lending? Lending through the web platform and taking the help of devices, whatsoever device you use in order to take the lending procedure. You are just using your device, getting the installation of any software, and through that software, every bank do have their independent web platform through where they are just making their services available to people. And if they are taking the help of those services, so this is the first time when digital services has been provided, digital lending services has been provided. And what kind of significance you get to see? Inclusivity is there. If you do talk about digitalization, your main aim is to reach out to the people which is unreachable earlier. Next, making the sector informal, like people are getting dependent, especially of that area which are unbanked in nature. They were highly dependent on the informal sector. Our aim is to make the shift of dependence on the informal sector to the formal one. And the time saving processor, what kind of time saving processor we can make the accommodation, as it is not the time taking processor plus cost saving processor, it can be taken as. Before that, what is the major concern we are making the establishment of? Before reading through the concern, I just want to let you know about the darshan batch. You will get to see different subjects over there. Limited time, sequential basis. Many questions you get to see in the same. Many questions and which is making your revision and have a grip on the same subjects so that you can perform so good in exam. Next is all about challenges. What kind of challenges? Challenges in the name of unorganized regulation continuously making impact on the society. You need to have the authorized batch. The way cryptocurrency is not being managed by any authority, but we are trying to come up with the digital currency in 2023 as per the announcement of budget 2021-22. Next is all about categories or groups has been divided. On what basis things should be allocated. Like I have to start my business. I need to be under the regulation of RBI. Under the regulation, what do we mean by the RBI regulation? RBI has certain norms to get to have the compliance on. They have various norms. I need to fulfill those norms. If I am fulfilling that, I have been regulated under the RBI Act. Next, many entities are there. If you are not coming under the regulation of RBI, you can come under the statutory body. If you are coming, so no problem. It could be given digital lending in that circumstances. If you are neither under RBI nor under the statutory body, it is also making the availability of digital lending. But certain principle has to be followed. This is the first time when digital lending guidelines are being prepared. What are the guidelines all about? Fees charges, how much fees charges should be given and what kind of standardized pattern should be there. Credit limit and the publication of the list has to be as per the concern of the customers. As the customer's main aim, just to have the easy access, things should be simpler. Then they would think about the security basis. If things are secure enough, security basis, if things are secure enough, and even after that you are facing any problem, the complaint you can file, and if you are making complaint, it could be redressed as per the ombudsman scheme, which is amalgamated into one from the three schemes. Integrated ombudsman scheme we are talking about. Within the 30 days, you would be able to get the solution. And how much sectors are coming under it? Insurance, income tax and banking. And if you want to know the clear explanation and the things in detail, then you can see my morning lecture. You would get to know what kind of clear explanation are given about the same topic. So what is the integrated ombudsman scheme? As the name suggests, integrated means there is integration of the three ombudsman scheme into one in 2018. If you are complaining, if you do have any complaint, you are getting registered, or if you are filing complaint, you would be heard or redressed. That establishing the accountability on behalf of organization. Like it is a prestigious point or credibility on behalf of an organization filing the complaint. If they are getting redressed, things are getting sorted. So it is a kind of increasing the credibility for the organization that yes, we do have security. Customers would feel secure that we have somebody to to get heard. So non-scheduled primary cooperative banks. Non-scheduled primary cooperative banks are also the part of integrated ombudsman scheme to have the access of in case of complaint. One nation, one ombudsman approach, jurisdiction neutral, like wherever you live in, you would have jurisdiction. Like ombudsman scheme do have jurisdiction over the every segment of the economy. Next, guidelines being formed just to make the, if we are trying to make the financial inclusion, obviously we are trying to spread the credit provisions. Unreasonable interest rate being charged by the unauthorized sector. We are trying to make the stabilization in that behalf so that accessibility could be generated. What kind of way forward would be there? Digital lending revolution, that is coming for the first time. Revolution in the sense in order to have the access of more and more people. Second is all about whatever digital lender or whatever lenders you are deciding on making the guidelines for. So you need to keep in mind that digitalization, it's a kind of format. Digitalization, it's a kind of medium through where you can just accumulate the standardization. Like standardization means you need to have a single bar on which basis you have to rely. You have to make the reliance on. This is should be for every customers you have. Next is all about technological safeguard and the education training you can give for the customers to spread the awareness. Your main motive is to spread the acknowledgement of the services available to them. Once they are done with this, you can make the implementation, you can spread or you can increase the quality basis for the same. Okay, so what are the way forward? You need to, this is your first time guidelines making for the digital lending. Yes, if you are doing so, you need to establish the process of integrity, standardized format, transparency should be there, accountability should be there. Like if you are filing any case or complaints, it should be heard. It is going to raise your credibility, going to make customers safe, or going to be more confident while using the services being provided by the RBI. Next is all about establishing the technological safeguard. The way I have explained in the same, transparency, standardized norm automatically going to generate the safeguards for the customers, and try to spread the services towards the people by spreading the news or spreading the information. Basically, main aim is to spread the awareness regarding the same. If you have any query regarding these three topics, you can just ask. So first we have talked about ICDS. This is totally related to the social sector. If we are talking about the social sector, trying to increase the access. Social includes what? Health. What? Education to spread the things. And resources you do have access of. And you are working on this parameters, just to spread the thing. You are working on this health parameter just to increase the capacity. And you would make the scopes on the diversified way. Obviously, if you are healthy enough, educated enough, you would have more scopes to work on, having more resources with you. Okay, 70% people, 70% children are the part of ICDS as per your targets being suggested, being targeted. Okay, we have just talked about this, and who are all are the parts? 0 to 6 year and lactating women and the pregnant women, and I have already discussed the question related to the same social service. Next is all about private versus public bank. Public bank, what we have talked about, pros and cons, pros of private and cons, which is in favor of automatically to the public sector. It is establishing the efficiency, productivity. Productivity means like out of the competition. Having the welfare approach by reaching to the unserved segment. Association with the policies. And more branches in case of rural areas. Next is all about digital lending. What do you mean by digital? Having access, more and more people should be the part of it. Lending is all about credit provisions, increasing the base for the credit provisions. The main criteria you need to follow under this. First, main concern on behalf of customers, that is to have easy processor and the simpler. After that, you would think about security. If this is so, if this is so, even after that, even beyond that, if you face any kind of query, complaint, you should have ombudsman from where it has come into the picture. You should be aware about the fact. These are the key pointers you need to have a glance about. And if the things are getting heard in the ombudsman, then it is going to raise the credibility, making the things more authenticated and making the people more confident regarding the authoritative decorum or authoritative framework of the economy. Okay, these three topics we have discussed so far in the session. If you have any doubt regarding the same topic, you can just let me know. And Darshan batch is all about NCERT. Things are going to get complete on time. If you have any doubt beyond that, you would have access to the Zoom meeting. In that meeting, you can just solve your doubt. Doubts would be sorted. 1,200 plus questions would be there in workbook. This is going to make lots of practices. And 9 to 10 and 12 to 1. This is for economic static part and this is for DNA session. Do not forget to attend regular classes just to develop the comfort zone with the subject. If you are developing the comfort zone with the subject, it is going to be really helpful in the examination. Thank you so much. Have a great day to all of you.